Hello, this is Karen, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the July 5th issue of the Times of Wayne County on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. First from the front page, road rage incident came close to driver's death in Arcadia. Phelps man fired gun from pursuing vehicle that went through victim's back window and headrest, missing her head by an inch and a half. State police out of Williamson don't have a solid reason why a road rage incident started back on June 17th, but a fired .40 caliber bullet came extremely close to killing the pursued driver, a pregnant female. The incident occurred on Stebbins Road in the town of Arcadia as Benjamin Q. Lead, age 32, of 14 North Wayne Street in Phelps, began chasing the victim's vehicle closely. The two male passengers in the pursued vehicle threw a beer and a Twisted Tea container out of the window in an attempt to stifle Lead's pursuit. Lead then fired a shot at the vehicle, which passed through the back window and the female driver's headrest, missing her head by an inch and a half. Lead finally gave up on the chase and went to his home in Phelps. Quick, detailed work by the state police led to the recovery of the spent round. A search warrant of Lead's residence led to the discovery of the handgun and ammunition that matched the fired bullet. On Tuesday, June 30th, Lead turned himself in and was charged. He was taken to the Wayne County Jail for CAP court arraignment and released on bail to initially appear in Arcadia Court on July 15th before the case is sent on to Wayne County Court. Next from the front page, Dundee man sends 6 separate victims to the hospital following multiple incidents. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office reported the arrest of a Town of Dundee man following an investigation into a reported disturbance at a residence on Hydesville Road in the town of Arcadia. Deputies responded to the location and found 3 victims on scene who were assaulted and required medical attention. The unknown suspect had fled the scene before responding deputies arrived. While conducting the investigation, there was a 911 call reporting an assault on Tellier Road in the town of Arcadia. Deputies responded to Tellier Road to find that the suspect had fled the scene again. A victim at the residence sustained an arm injury when the suspect attempted to force entry into the residence. While deputies were investigating the Tellier Road assault, it was discovered that the suspect was in a neighboring residence along with 2 occupants whom the suspect had also assaulted. 6 victims from 3 separate residences were transported to area hospitals for medical treatment due to injuries sustained in the attacks. Wayne County Sheriff's deputies arrested Jonathan Sheeran, age 34, of 41 Starkey Point Road in Dundee. Sheeran was charged with 5 counts of burglary in the first degree, 1 count of robbery in the second degree, 9 counts of assault in the second degree, 1 count of assault in the third degree, and 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the third degree. Sheeran was held at the Wayne County Jail to await CAP arraignment. Wayne County Sheriff's Office was assisted by New York State Police, Newark Police Department, and Wayne County EMS. Sheeran was scheduled to appear in Arcadia Town Court on July 2nd. Also from the front page, Wayne County Sheriff, District Attorney respond to protest at Marshall Farms. Following another recent protest outside of Marshall Bioresources in North Rose last week, the Times reached out to local officials to ask for their thoughts on the situation. Wayne County Sheriff Rob Milby says he is aware of the protests as well as the conditions inside Marshall Bioresources. We have been in the facility very recently and found no animals that were in poor conditions. He added, they are housed in clean surroundings, are not overcrowded, and are well fed. Marshall's hires people to come in and socialize with their animals. Milby says there has long been a misconception that there is active animal testing happening at the facility. Truth of the matter is that the animals are not being tested at Marshall's, as the rhetoric would have people believe. These people are barking up the wrong tree, so to speak. Why are they not camping outside of the facilities that actually test animals, since that seems to be the complaint which generates the protests? Milby says his office will always preserve everyone's right to protest, as long as it is done in a legal manner. Some advocate groups are claiming a moral high ground, which justifies their intention to violate laws in Wayne County. They must understand that we will not tolerate such conduct and will not simply turn a blind eye. Wayne County District Attorney Christine Callanan echoed that sentiment in her statement, stating, "I support Sheriff Milby and the members of law enforcement who will be tasked with protecting both the public's constitutional right to peacefully protest and the safety of our community." The Wayne County District Attorney's Office will continue to work closely with our law enforcement partners to ensure that the law is enforced fairly, consistently, and without regard to the cause or viewpoint of those involved. Every individual has the right to peacefully express their views, but no one has the right to engage in criminal conduct. Callanan added that should violations of the law occur, her office stands ready to review those matters and prosecute criminal offenses supported by the facts, the evidence, and the law. Next from the front page, Wayne County primary results now official. With a very close race, Monroe County will determine a winner in the 130th for the Democrat spot on the ballot in November. In the very close battle for the Democratic Party line in the race for the 130th Assembly District, candidate Joe LaManna of Williamson garnered 14 more votes from absentee and affidavit ballots just counted. This brings his Wayne County number to 1131 over Carl Fitzsimmons' 906. Fitzsimmons of Webster gained 12 more votes. While still awaiting official Monroe County results, the final outcome for the 130th Assembly Democrat seat is undetermined. For the Republicans in the 130th race, George Dobbins of Lyons gained 12 more votes in Wayne County, Summer Johnson of Marion picked up 9 more votes, and Webster's Mark Johns added 5 more votes to his total. These numbers from Wayne County have not changed the outcome of the primary ballot run. Palmyra Scott Comegis had 17 additional votes in Wayne County, but not enough to give him the spot over Michael Mills, who gained 9 more in Wayne County. We will post all the official results on our website when they become available at Wayne Times. Our last front page article, tickets are now available for Great Gardens of Wayne County. See what other gardeners are doing and get some ideas for your own garden when you attend the Great Gardens of Wayne County tour on Wednesday, July 15th from 4 to 8 p.m. This self-guided tour features 5 sites in the Macedon area and a bonus site just into Farmington. For tickets, stop by our office or send $10 per person to Cornell Cooperative Extension of Wayne County, 1581 Route 88 North, Newark, New York, 14513. Please note tour on your check and include your phone number. For more information, call area code 315-331-8415. For special needs, please contact the organization 2 weeks prior to the tour. Tour is rain or shine. Next, we have the editorial page. In this corner by Ron Holdraker, owner, editor. So, just what is democratic socialism? Democratic socialism is having a moment. Look at Zoran Mamdani's buzzy mayoral campaign in New York City, Omar Fateh's candidacy in the Minneapolis mayoral race, and the ongoing influence of Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Bernie Sanders. Democratic socialism strictly advocates for policies that can be enacted without threatening the power of the people. In an effort to close the gap from the uber-rich billionaires and large companies controlling the market, the common folk push for such programs as government employer child care and full medical transportation. Ocasio-Cortez and New York Governor Zohran Mamdani got into office with the motto of "Ordinary people have a real voice in our workplaces, neighborhoods, and society." You might think it is only a pipe dream, but in a fractured Democratic Party, it is seen as a way to own the key economic drivers that dominate lives, such as energy production and transportation. Sherry Berman, a political science professor at Columbia University's Barnard College, told the New York Times that since democratic socialism in the U.S. is not a tradition with a huge following or a huge impact thus far, the labels can be fuzzy on who is a proponent and what exactly the tenets are. Practically, democratic socialism means different things to different people when applied to various demographics and locations. No, it has not caught on with mainstream Democrats, but it may be an up-and-coming segment of the party, and definitely one that Republicans point out as total socialism. If you are terribly upset or negative to the ideas, you must realize that when Franklin Roosevelt first pushed for Social Security for Americans, it was faced with a backlash of opposition decrying it as socialism. Today, we accept Social Security as a lifeline to seniors and the disabled. We see unemployment payments as a way for survival of the family and individual. Even policies of various welfare programs have their roots in American history. Yes, there are abuses in all forms of government, but upper classes often see such social as pure rip-offs. To understand how the party system works, we must first define who registers as Democrats, Republicans, and conservatives. Over the years, the Democratic Party evolved as for the people, working class, and progressives. Republicans were seen as upper status companies and well-settled individuals who flocked party causes of tightening belts and preventing migration. Conservatives went further by decrying government reach into daily lives. Over the decades, and especially in the last several years, the lines have blurred, with the growth of non-party independents who have seen a huge uptick in voting numbers. The independents pick and chose various topics of alignment and choice. No, Americans don't want the socialism of Russia, North Korea, or other such failed programs, but they want the stabilization of countries such as Denmark, Finland, France, and various nations playing with forms of democratic socialism. Even in these examples of democratic socialism, cracks have developed due to climate change and massive migration patterns. Right now, our country is celebrating its 250th anniversary of our form of democracy, but it is under attack or subjective change with inside pressures from the upper classes, usually on the Republican side. This new capitalism push has given rise to the new Democrat socialism that has evolved. Republicans favor changes, either by overwhelming control, court and U.S. Constitution challenges, but that has only invigorated both Democrats and so-called democratic socialism movements. It will be interesting after the upcoming midterm elections, as the current Republican moves have been met with plunging popularity. Even in local elections, the number of independents is growing as disenchantment with the two-party system is waning. Democracy, socialism, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives are all in a dizzying flux of upheaval as we start the next chapter of the United States of America. I just want to see the next 2 years. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Times of Wayne County on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next, we have the thumbs up and thumbs down column. You win some, you lose some with Supreme Court decisions. Think of it as a chess game. Retirements, deaths, timing, and political party in control of selections have become primary in Supreme Court appointments. Currently, the Republicans have been fortunate on all levels, with the majority of the nation's top court most definitely conservative, far-right to the max. Of course, the Democrats have had their times in the past where leftists were on top. While both often vote to approve a selection based on individual talents, some are pushed through by political party strong-arming. The Supreme Court consists of John G. Roberts, Jr., Chief Justice of the United States, appointed under President George W. Bush. Same with Clarence Thomas, seen as a hard conservative Republican who had problems before his appointment. Samuel A. Alito, Jr., also a Republican Bush appointment, was another hardliner. Sonia Sotomayor was Democrat President Barack Obama's nomination in 2009, giving a more liberal tone to the panel of 9. Same too with Justice Elena Kagan. Trump got to pick the next 3 with a bit of luck, with ultra-conservatives Neil M. Gorsuch and Brett M. Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, but not before a real grilling by the Trump administration and loyalty oaths to his future agenda. Ketanji Brown Jackson was appointed by Joe Biden during his term and seen as a liberal-minded justice. Appointed for life, retirement, or disbarring, the Supreme Court has decided on crucial segments of life, regardless of political and public leanings. Last week, Trump was the first president to sit in on Supreme Court hearings, pushing his appearance as a weight to any decisions. He has both heartily agreed with or rebutted and all but castrated justices for the court's decisions based on his wishes. Luckily, some decisions with support of the far-right leaning have actually sided with the law and Constitution, while others have legalists scratching their heads. Last week, the court, in a 6-3 decision, handed President Donald Trump major victories on immigration, giving him the go-ahead to end the legal status of more than 1 million citizens of war-torn Syria and violence-plagued Haiti from 13 countries, including Venezuela, Honduras, Afghanistan, and Nepal. These were foreigners permitted to live and work in the U.S. due to crises in their home countries. Some have lived here and built families and businesses. Don't fret, though, that does not include the all-white Southern African immigrants that can stay forever. Also, U.S. immigration officials can turn away asylum seekers at the Mexican border. The Supreme Court has struck down a Hawaii law requiring gun owners to get permission before bringing their firearms into private shops and other businesses open to the public, in a 6-3 ruling. The Supreme Court struck down limits on coordinated spending between candidates and political parties on Tuesday, a win for Republicans that will fundamentally change how tens of millions of dollars are spent in congressional elections. Republicans tend to get more money from large donors, while Democrats have been more reliant on small-dollar donors. In the winning column, the Supreme Court has upheld the constitutional guarantee of birthright citizenship, rejecting President Donald Trump's attempt to upend more than a century of legal consensus that virtually everyone born on American soil is a U.S. citizen. In February, the justices knocked out the centerpiece of his trade policy by overturning sweeping tariffs Trump imposed on imports from around the globe. Win some, lose some? Next, we have People News. The University of Rhode Island is pleased to announce that several area students have been named to its Spring 2026 Dean's List. Among them are Megan Harvey of Ontario and J.J. Wainick of North Rose. The following local students have earned Dean's List at University at Albany: Laurel Izzo of Walworth, Phineas Bastian of Clyde, Ian Johnson of Ontario, Eva Patterson of Savannah, Nicholas Tramachero of Ontario, Lee Duke of Ontario, Alana Eichler of Sodus, Colton Milos of Ontario, and Kevin Brango of Macedon. Several Mid-Lakes High School students have earned the New York State Seal of Biliteracy after demonstrating high-level proficiency in 2 or more languages. Julie Chen will wear a gold medallion, earning her seal in Spanish, English, and Mandarin Chinese. Her classmates demonstrated proficiency in English and Spanish. Seniors earning the seal include Frank Acevedo Martinez, Eleni Resendiz, Brooklyn May, Ureli Cruz Castro, Jonathan Capozzi, Aidan Bryant, Julie Chen, Marley Conrad, Mackenzie Davis, Ashlyn Downey, Anthony Gleason, Amelia Santi, Maya Stevenson, and Eden Trzeziak. Kettering University honored Scott Frederick as a summa cum laude graduate during its 2026 celebration of distinguished scholars on June 19th. Frederick of Walworth earned a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Alicia Cruz of Walworth was named to the University of Mississippi's Spring 2026 Honor Roll list. Cruz, in the Exercise Science program, was named to the Dean's Honor Roll. The Dean's list for Spring 2026 includes Pierce Berm of Newark, Sociology, Francisco Garcia of Lyons, Physics and Engineering, Ryan Hinks of Newark, Musical Theater, Mia Hasbach of Marion, Biology, Nathan Mitchell of Ontario, Business Economics, Grayson Natali of Macedon, Sport Management, Jake Potter of Ontario, Sport Management, Alana Ransko of Newark, Speech and Hearing Science, Jessica Sullivan of Clyde, Physical Education, K through 12, Adeline York of Walworth, Early Childhood and Childhood Education B through 6. Congratulations to Gananda Senior Jay Giles on being named a recipient of the National Merit Northeastern University Scholarship and graduating as the class of 2026 valedictorian. Jay will attend Northeastern University, where he will study biology and data science along with a minor in public health. On the Dean's list at SUNY Delhi, local students include Allison Exton of Palmyra, who's pursuing a bachelor's degree in veterinary technology. Havana Mount of Walworth is pursuing a bachelor's degree in construction management, design, and building. And last in the People News column, several local students earned a General Equivalency Diploma, GED, over the last year through the free program at Finger Lakes Community College. FLCC's program allows students to work at their own pace with an instructor as they prepare for the 4 exams required to earn a high school equivalency diploma. Students take in-person math and reading assessments to gauge their skill levels. Classes are offered in Ontario, Seneca, Wayne, and Yates counties at FLCC locations, libraries, and workforce development offices. Local students included Clyde, Abigail Ham, Lyons, Robert Bacon, Newark, Mackenzie McLaughlin, Afra Obad, Grace Simazan, Alexis Simonik, and Logan Wilson, Walworth, Liliana Valentin Williamson, Nola Brown, Timothy Mosier. Next on the People News page, Pamela Heald honored with NYCUA Outstanding Professional Award at Excel 26. Reliant Credit Union is proud to announce that President and CEO Pamela Heald has been awarded the Outstanding Professional Award by the New York Credit Union Association at the Excel 26 conference. The Outstanding Professional Award recognizes exceptional leadership, commitment, and contributions to the credit union movement. Ms. Heald, a respected industry leader, has spent more than 3 decades supporting the mission of credit unions through innovation, collaboration, and a strong focus on people. As president and CEO of Reliant Credit Union, Ms. Heald has strengthened and defined the credit union's culture rooted in accountability, respect, and teamwork. Under her leadership, Reliant has continued to expand and serve a growing membership while always keeping both the member and staff experience top of mind. Quote, I am deeply honored to receive this recognition from the NYCUA, said Pamela Heald, Reliant's president and CEO. This award is a testament of the dedication of the incredible team at Reliant and the credit union movement's commitment to making a difference in people's lives. The Excel Conference is NYCUA's annual premier event, bringing together credit union professionals from across New York State to celebrate achievements, share insights, and advance the industry. Next, from the history page, did you know? How is Wolcott, New York connected to $2 bills and the signing of the Declaration of Independence? Since 1976, the reverse of $2 bills is an engraved reproduction of John Trumbull's 1818 painting, The Declaration of Independence. This artwork depicts the moment the Committee of Five presents the draft of the Declaration to the Continental Congress in Independence Hall, Philadelphia. One of the men depicted is Oliver Wolcott, Connecticut, who signed the Declaration of Independence. Wolcott, New York is named after Oliver Wolcott. Also from the history page, Heritage Square Museum's once-in-a-generation opportunity. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Heritage Square in Ontario will offer a once-in-a-generation event. On Saturday, July 11th, Heritage Square Museum will dedicate their new American elm Liberty tree, a symbol of freedom, resilience, and our nation's enduring spirit, at 10 a.m. As part of this special ceremony, they will also bury a time capsule that will preserve a snapshot of our community for future generations. How you can participate? Local organizations, businesses, churches, schools, clubs, and community groups are encouraged to contribute a small item that represents who we are today. Suggested items include organizational brochures or newsletters, photographs, event programs, local newspapers, letters to future generations, small memorabilia that reflects life in our community today. The goal is to create a lasting record of the people, organizations, and traditions that make our community special. Heritage Square thanks you all in advance for helping them preserve today's history for tomorrow's generations. Questions? Call Jackie Storing at 585-721-0033. Next from the history page, Newark Arcadia Museum announces summer hours. The Newark Arcadia Museum summer hours are Saturdays 1 to 3, Wednesdays 5 to 7, through the end of August. The museum is located at 120 High Street, across the street from the Hoffman Clock Museum and the Newark Public Library. Admission is free, with donations gratefully accepted. Several new displays have recently opened, including a special 250th anniversary of the U.S. and a display of 17 watercolors by Newark artist Richard W. Ware. The Erie Canal exhibit continues through this fall, which includes many rare photos through the ages, as well as Erie Canal artwork, including a Wayne Williams sculpture of a mule, as well as a number of paintings and photos by local artists. See it while you can. The museum also owns one of two known Brownie cars built in Newark in 1909 by the Omar Car Company. The museum has a gift shop and research room and is air-conditioned. For additional information, please call 315-331-6409. And last on the history page, Marbletown Schoolhouse open for the summer. The Marbletown Schoolhouse is open Saturdays, 1 to 3 p.m., through the end of August. Stop by and see the inside of this historic building just as it was in 1947 when it closed. The one-room school was built in 1876 by a well-known local architect, Stephen N. Keener. It was donated to the Newark Arcadia Historical Society by the Marbletown Neighborhood Center in 1993. The Marbletown Schoolhouse is located at 6631 Miller Road. Admission is free, donations gratefully accepted. For further information, call the Newark Arcadia Historical Society at 315-331-6409. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Times of Wayne County on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And now for the obituaries. From Wolcott, William Bill Adams Grizzly, 94 years old, died June 23rd. North Rose, Dennis M. Caves, 75, 6/27/26. In Marion, Michael D. Compton, 66 years old, June 19th. From Williamson, Gerald I. DeBeck, 96 years old, June 23rd. From Webster, Barbara Hall, 91 years old, June 24th. In Huron, Ramon Hubbard, 91 years old, June 26th. Red Creek, Melva Lorraine Garrett Minier, 76 years old, June 26th. From Sodus, Eric Morris, 102, May 2nd. From Wolcott, Raymond A. Rusko Sr., 97 years old, June 22nd. In Sodus, Gerald S. Slater Jr., 64 years old, June 15th. In Lyons, Huron, Keith L. Wagner, 73 years old, June 24th. In Sodus, Shirley A. Barclay Wren, 93 years old, June 27th. In Wolcott, Rosemary Wright, 93 years old, May 1st. For details of these obituaries, listeners can call Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 716-821-5555. Next, from the Seniors page, Senior Moments, The Healthy Geezer by Fred Gichetti. Next, from the Senior Moments page, The Healthy Geezer by Frank Gichetti. Question: what are the most common stroke symptoms? The most common stroke symptoms include sudden numbness, weakness, or paralysis of the face, arm, or leg, usually on one side of the body, trouble talking or understanding, sudden blurred, double, or decreased vision, dizziness, loss of balance or coordination, a sudden headache with a stiff neck, facial pain, pain between the eyes, vomiting or altered consciousness, confusion or problems with memory, spatial orientation, or perception. During a stroke, brain cells are deprived of oxygen and nutrients. They begin to die. The earlier a stroke is treated, the better the results. In the USA, stroke is one of the top 10 leading causes of death. It is the leading cause of adult disability. Your doctor has many diagnostic tools for stroke. Among these are physical exam, blood tests, carotid ultrasonography to check the carotid arteries in your neck, arteriography to view arteries in your brain, a computerized tomography CT scan of the neck and brain, a magnetic resonance imaging MRI of the brain, among others. Question: how bad does it have to be before you can say you're constipated? The clinical definition of constipation is any two of the following symptoms for at least 12 weeks, not necessarily consecutive, in the previous year: straining during bowel movements, lumpy or hard stool, sensation of obstruction or incomplete evacuation, fewer than 3 bowel movements per week. Those reporting constipation most often are women and adults age 65 and over. Constipation is one of the most common gastrointestinal complaints in the United States. Common causes of constipation include insufficient intake of fiber and liquids, lack of exercise, medications, older age, and abuse of laxatives. Many seniors eat a low-fiber diet that causes constipation. Some lose interest in eating and choose convenience foods low in fiber. Others have difficulties chewing or swallowing. This leads them to eat soft, processed foods low in fiber. Aging may affect bowel regularity because a slower metabolism results in less intestinal activity and muscle tone. Some medications can cause constipation. They include pain medications, especially narcotics, antacids that contain aluminum and calcium, blood pressure medications, especially calcium channel blockers, anti-Parkinson drugs, antispasmodics, antidepressants, iron supplements, diuretics, and anticonvulsants. Question: are there signs an older person is being abused? If you're concerned an older adult might need help, these are the symptoms to look for. Physical injury such as a bruise, cut, burn, rope mark, sprain, or broken bone. Refusal of the caregiver to allow you to visit the older person alone. Indications of dehydration, malnourishment, weight loss, and poor hygiene. Negative behavior such as agitation, withdrawal, expressions of fear or apathy. Unexplained changes in finances. Recently, the U.S. Administration on Aging found that more than 500,000 people over the age of 60 are abused or neglected each year. About 90% of the abusers are related to the victims. What is elder abuse? It can take a variety of forms: physical, sexual, emotional, and financial. Neglect of an older person is also within the umbrella of elder abuse. All 50 states have elder abuse prevention laws and have set up reporting systems. Adult Protective Services, APS agencies investigate reports of suspected elder abuse. To report elder abuse, call the Elder Care Locator at 1-800-677-1116. Lastly, from the Senior Moments page, the Senior Newsline by Matilda Charles. Seniors' scams are getting worse. You might want to cut out this column and keep it by your phone or computer. The reason? Scams against seniors are getting more devious by the day. Consider, the local courts aren't going to call you and say you will be arrested for not showing up for jury duty unless you pay a fine. It's a scam. The bank won't call and say you need to immediately move your money to a different account to keep it safe while they catch the thieves. It's a scam. If anyone wants you to pay a fine using gift cards, it's a scam. If an urgent message pops up on your computer saying you need immediate tech support for a virus, it's a scam. If a stranger asks to borrow your cell phone for a fast emergency call, say no. In the wrong hands, the SIM card on your phone can be swapped or stolen in seconds. Scammers are making use of artificial intelligence, AI, to try to put things over on us, and unfortunately they're doing a good job. From official-looking documents to fake voice cloning and lost package notices, they can make us believe almost anything. We just have to be smarter than they are. If you get any bank-related calls, hang up. Call the bank yourself to see if they called you about a problem. Limit the number of people and companies that have your phone number and email address. Use a throwaway email address for the times you need to provide one. Invest in an RFID blocking wallet to keep thieves in a crowd from being able to skim information from your credit cards. If you think you've fallen for a scam, act quickly. Change passwords. Call the bank or credit card company to have your accounts paused. Report scam attempts to reportfraud.ftc.gov. Remember, you don't have to answer the phone just because it rings. Next in the Times, Ontario Women's Civic Club celebrate their 80th year of serving the town of Ontario. At a dinner meeting, 2 members of the Ontario Women's Civic Group were honored for serving over 50 years in the club, Kay McCune and Sandy Flock. A very special acknowledgement was noted for a longtime member of the club, Ida Agnello, who recently celebrated her 109th birthday. She now resides in Monroe County. It was also a meeting to present the Ontario Women's Civics Club Annual Scholarship Award for Public Service. This year's recipient is Isabella Venture from Wayne Central. The purpose of Ontario Women's Civic Club is to make Ontario a better community in which to live through cultural, social, and civic development. The group is also in charge of the Ontario Loan Closet, which is located at 1850 Ridge Road, Ontario Town Hall, and provides free short-term medical equipment loans to residents of Ontario, Walworth, Union Hill, and Williamson. This volunteer-run community service assists individuals recovering from surgeries, illnesses, or injuries by offering essential mobility and home care items. And a photo caption, members in attendance of the Ontario Women's Civic Club were Kay McCune, Sandy Flock, Charlotte Winkelbauer, Gail Madrowski, Barb Martin, and Pat Williams, Karen Merritt, Kathy King, Ruth Schutt, Club President Linda LaForce, Jane Pitts, Dee Mascari, Barb Sanger, and Joan Stark. And we have more photos with captions. The Palmyra Republican Village Caucus was held on Tuesday, June 16th at 7 at the Palmyra Marina Pavilion. Over 50 people attended. 1 village justice position and 2 village trustee positions were the reason for the caucus. Ultimately, Terry Rodman was unopposed for the village justice position. However, both trustee positions were challenged. Gina Luke and Linda Valley won each position respectively and were therefore elected to the Republican ballot. Terry, Gina, and Linda are the Palmyra Republican candidates for Election Day on November 3rd. And another photo caption, earlier this June, the Ontario Fire Company announced this year's recipients of the Murphy Doyle Memorial Scholarship. The winners were presented with a certificate and check at an award ceremony held at the Ontario Fire Station No. 1. The Ontario Fire Company congratulates Jonathan Shoup and Abigail Church on receiving this award. Pictured are Michael Senzenbach, OFC, Jonathan Shoup, Abigail Church, and Dan Doyle representing the Doyle and Murphy families. Our next photo caption, at Gananda Rotary Club's annual changeover picnic, outgoing president Jerry Tavermina congratulates his successor, Wanda Arnold, who will serve as the club president for 26-27. Wanda has been dubbed Wanda from Gananda to make her stand out to other Rotarians in the district. Outgoing president of the Gananda Rotary Club, Jerry Tavermina, holding his granddaughter Charlie, was presented the Paul Harris Award for being so active in the club that he is called the Yes Man. Holding the award is his Rotary sponsor Sandy Pagano and club secretary Patty Holdraker in the back. The Paul Harris Award is Rotary's highest service honor. Next in the Times, congratulations to July's Sodus Chamber Business of the Month Spotlight, Dough Face Dog Treats. For the past 6 years, Dough Face Dog Treats has been creating preservative-free, crunchy dog treats right here in Wayne County. Their treats are specially scored to easily break into 5 smaller pieces, making them perfect for dogs of every size, from Chihuahuas to Mastiffs and every pup in between. What makes this business even more special is their commitment to giving back. Dough Face Dog Treats donates 10% of all dog treat sales to local dog rescues and shelters, and has proudly donated almost $6,000 to local rescues and shelters as of June 26. In the works are 2 new vegan treat options for dogs with egg allergies or sensitivities. Congratulations to Julia Caniato and Dough Free Dog Treats on being recognized as the Sodus Chamber's Business of the Month. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Times of Wayne County on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next, there is a notice. Lions 2026. Live at Lions Central Park in the Bandstand. Every Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m., free entry. Thursday, July 9th through August 13th. Music in the park, downtown dining, and drinks. On July 9th, Decades Band. July 16th, Larry Davis. July 23rd, The Movers, Fusion of Blues. July 30th, Beck and the Bobcats. August 6th, Coldwater Blues. August 13th, Major Keys. Grab your chair, bring your friends, and enjoy Summer Nights in Lions. Presented by the Lions Main Street Program and sponsored by the Baumler Community Foundation. And another notice, Annual Medicare Fair, save the dates, from New York Wayne County Aging and Youth. October 2nd, 2026, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Palmyra VFW 4306, New York 31, Palmyra. And October 9th, 10 to 2, Wolcott Elks Lodge, 6161 Westport Bay Road, Wolcott. The representatives attending will include Aetna, United Healthcare, Excellus, the Alzheimer's Association, EPIC, the Elderly Pharmaceutical Insurance Coverage Program, Nascentia Health, Lifespan, Community Healthcare Association of New York State, VA, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, The Medicine Shop, Elder One, and Finger Lakes Community Health. Representatives attending may differ by time of fair. We look forward to seeing everyone. Registration required. Call 315-946-5624. And now from the Columns and Opinions page, Town of Williamson Supervisors column by Barry Van Ostrand, Town Supervisor. Many volunteer organizations across our state are struggling. Increasing state requirements in the minimum number of hours required for training and various societal changes have resulted in fewer volunteers to staff vital services such as firefighting and emergency medical services. Unfortunately, Williamson is not immune to the effects of these changes. What was once an all-volunteer service, Williamson Volunteer Ambulance Service crews consist of mostly paid staff. This change, combined with inadequate state reimbursement rates, has resulted in significant financial challenges for the Williamson Volunteer Ambulance Service. Ironically, unlike law enforcement and fire service, the state of New York does not classify ambulance service as being an essential service, meaning municipalities are not legally required to fund or provide them, and this has resulted in a fragmented patchwork of private and volunteer services. The town of Williamson began contributing financially to the WVAS over 30 years ago. Recently, those contributions were 2023 for $45,000 and in 2024 for $50,000. In 2025, it abruptly rose to $125,000 after being notified by the WVAS that they did not have adequate funding to make it through the year. In 2026, it remains at $125,000. But should we continue forward with WVAS service, that number will need to increase substantially. About 5 years ago, Wayne County decided to establish a county-wide ambulance service due to the closing of various volunteer ambulance services. At that time, WVAS was not struggling as it is today, and the county decided to locate ambulance bases in Sodus, Walworth, Rose, and Lyons. Because of WVAS increasing need for financial support, at the end of 2025, the Williamson Town Board made a decision to establish a committee to review what the future of EMS in Williamson might look like. The committee was led by former Councilman Tom Watson and included Councilman Abe Mall and several others who are experts in their fields. The committee will present their findings at our board meeting to be held on July 14th at 7 p.m. This meeting will discuss response times of WVAS versus Wayne County's ambulance, as well as committee suggestions about how much increased fiscal assistance the town would need to contribute to keep WVAS solvent. After the committee's presentation, the town board will conduct a mailing to Williamson residents seeking their input about raising our financial contribution to WVAS or discontinuing it. It is very important that residents promptly return this mailing to the town hall after checking the option they prefer. Should funding be discontinued, it will likely result in the closing of WVAS and the county ambulance service taking over. The town board will consider public input when deciding the future funding of WVAS. Before offering an opinion, residents are encouraged to gather the facts and understand how the decision may affect them. If you are unable to attend the board meeting, the PowerPoint presentation from the meeting will be available on the town website. There will also be hard copies available for viewing in the town library and the town clerk's office. Next in sports, Marion's Siripampa earns All-American honors. Recent Marion High School graduate Michael Siripampa brought home 4 All-American honors from the USATF National Youth Outdoor TNF Championships held at the Milton Franks Stadium in Huntsville, Alabama, June 24th to 27th. Hundreds of competitors from all over the country came together to compete for the podium. Only the top 8 in each category earn All-American status. Over 4 consecutive days, Siripampa competed in the men's 3,000-meter, 2,000-meter steeplechase, 1,500-meter, and 400-meter hurdles, earning All-American honors in each event. Siripampa is in the Delayed Entry Program for the U.S. Air Force Reserve's Security Forces and will attend Utica University starting January 26, following the completion of BMT in San Antonio, Texas. Siripampa will major in criminal justice and be a member of the Utica cross-country track and field program. Also in sports, Williamson girls track and field capture 3rd straight sectional championship. The Williamson girls track and field team continued its tradition of excellence by winning the Class C2 sectional championship for the 3rd consecutive year on Friday, May 29th at Sodus High School. Fueled by outstanding individual performances and a true team effort, the Marauders accumulated 150 team points to secure another sectional title. Every point mattered as athletes across the roster contributed to the championship-winning performance. Leading the way was Lauren Schmielk, who delivered one of the most dominant performances of the meet. Schmielk captured 4 individual sectional titles in the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, 400-meter dash, and 100-meter hurdles. Her remarkable effort earned the maximum 40 individual points possible and the honor of being named the Class C2 Most Outstanding Track Athlete. Distance standout Hannah Governor also had an exceptional day, winning sectional championships in the 800-meter, 1,500-meter, and 3,000-meter runs. Georgie Alexander claimed the sectional title in the 2,000-meter steeplechase, while earning 2nd place in the 3,000 meters and a 3rd place finish in the 1,500 meters. Williamson also excelled in the relays. The championship reflects the depth, determination, and teamwork that have become hallmarks of the Williamson girls track and field program. Winning 3 consecutive sectional championships is an impressive accomplishment and a testament to the dedication of the athletes. Congratulations to the entire Williamson girls track and field team on another outstanding sectional championship. Lastly, we have our Humane Society Wayne County Pets of the Week. You can call them at 315-946-3389. Creamy is a 3.5-year-old neutered male short-haired orange and white kitty. He is sweet but timid. He will run into his condo where it feels safe. He loves to snuggle when you hold him. He enjoys playing with toys. He seems to like dogs but would prefer to be the only kitty. He is independent and looking for a calm and patient person as his new family. He is looking for someone that will give him time to learn about his new surroundings. If you are interested in meeting him, please contact the shelter to make sure he is not at one of our off-site adoption centers. Creamy is available through our adult companion program to those who qualify. Mork is a 3-year-old neutered male tan Labrador retriever. He is a typical lab, happy, goofy, and loving. He came in a stray with his friend Mindy. He is learning how to walk on a leash and loves toys. Please contact the shelter if you are interested in meeting him. Mork is available through our adult companion program to those who qualify. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the July 5th issue of the Times of Wayne County. Your reader has been Karen. Thank you for listening.